What's a headcanon you saw in a fanfiction that you instantly accepted as canon? No hesitation. Me? I was reading a Super Mario fic that headcanoned Luigi as bisexual, in a relationship with Daisy, but had something going on with Prince Peasley. I stole the headcanon, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Credit to Reddit user NatureNut49 for starting this thread on the fanfiction subreddit. And let's go read some answers. In DC Comics / Batman, Tim Drake makes his coffee with energy drinks. Tim also has a coffee maker under his bed. It's set up to make his first cup of the day. I read one recently where his under-the-bed coffee maker was set up so when the person on the bed started waking up, it would automatically make a cup of coffee for him. It wasn't in a fanfiction, but I saw a sweet and popular headcanon when Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach came out that said that Sun and Moon having human fingers, unlike the other animatronics, is so he can do sign language for the deaf and mute kids, and also the bells he wears are for blind kids so they can know where he is. Eddie Munson from Stranger Things has ADHD. Peter Parker acting way more spidery after the bite than is shown in the movies, like natural web fluid, bad body temperature control, fangs, etc. Make that man a little freak. Link from Legend of Zelda using sign language and being mute or selectively mute. Other people fight me on the game subreddits, but I don't care because it makes so much sense. In Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Zora spots glow. Absolutely fanon, but I truly believe. I'm all here for bioluminescent Zora. And Avatar: The Last Airbender headcanon. Note, I haven't seen Legend of Korra or read the comics, that Aang is devoutly religious as well as celibate, and that airbenders would be born again without him ever having to have children because airbending is more dependent on deep spirituality than genetics. Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians. Despite being more in touch with modernity than the other Guardians, is still a total grandpa when it comes to movies and shows. He's genuinely frightened by old B-movies, still thinks a film being in color is a distinguishable feature, has referred to a movie as a talkie at some point, etc. I love when centuries-old characters actually retain touches of the years they lived through, instead of basically being modern characters who just so happen to have met Shakespeare. I also think it makes so much sense for Jack's knowledge of indoor activities to be a lot more limited and outdated than with things a kid is likely to do outdoors in the winter. From Marvel, Bucky Barnes calling Steve Rogers Stevie. I spent a long time believing it had actually happened in the movies. Thinking about it as someone who was heavily into Marvel and now isn't as much, you've genuinely baffled me. I really thought he did that. From Marvel, Tony Stark knew Peggy Carter and called her aunt. Sharon, too. Natasha Romanoff is asexual. Bucky Barnes has biological children, some older than him, made from his sperm. Possibly Natasha is one of them. I came specifically to say Natasha is asexual, and a fic of her being so is what introduced me to asexuality and my own place in the spectrum. For Bob's Burgers. Someone once said they headcanoned that Bob's mom liked to make food puns, and that's where Bob got his burger of the day thing from. Pretty much everything from Pokemon: The Origin of Species. Trainers can fit so much in their bags because they have Pokeball-like devices that can carry inanimate objects. The gym leaders use stage names. And the Pokemon Rangers are a government organization similar to real-world animal control or national forest officers with cool sci-fi gadgets. For My Hero Academia, Present Mike and Bakugo being deaf or hearing impaired due to the volume of their quirks. I can 100% believe this because my dad is hard of hearing due to power tool usage for his construction job. In My Hero Academia, Bakugo would upgrade Momo's nickname from Ponytail to Princess if they became close friends or romantic. Many Baku Momo fics do this, and now it's my own headcanon. Just last night I was reading the latest chapter uploaded in a fic I'm following, where Donatello from the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon was eating dino nuggies while watching Jurassic Park, and now I'm a firm believer that he likes dino nuggies. Henry the Big Green Engine from Thomas and Friends has a combination of a physical disability and autism, due to his bad firebox and his routine of going to his forest. Wait, there's Thomas the Tank Engine fanfic? It's not exactly the same thing, but I saw a fic where Makoto Yuki, the Persona 3 protagonist, essentially has it in their mind that it's a bad thing to say no to other people, and thereby not let them do what they want. I haven't yet been able to get into any other fanfic interpretations since. Baldur's Gate headcanons, let's go! Halsin isn't actually an elf that can transform into a bear, but a bear that can transform into an elf. This would explain why he's built like a brick house. Asterion has a ridiculous amount of pillows in his tent. If he really wants to be left alone, he can just hide in his sea of pillows and nobody will find him. Shadowheart collects all kinds of glass bottles and jars. Hey, she's a cleric. She has to keep her potions and ingredients somewhere. Ravon from Knights of the Old Republic being Mandalorian. It adds some extra depth to the character's conflict, and I sometimes forget it isn't actually canon. In Harry Potter, Dumbledore is a manipulative evil shit. Can you tell my favorite Harry Potter tag is Albus Dumbledore bashing / manipulative Albus Dumbledore? It explains so many weak spots in the canon, where the author needed plot to happen but hand-waved away the pesky implications of it, like Dumbledore so blatantly favoring his former house, or not doing anything when he should have realized students were being abused at home. In Harry Potter, Snape being Draco's godfather. Someone gave the reasoning that Snape and Sirius hate each other, Harry and Malfoy hate each other, Harry and Sirius are Gryffindors, while Snape and Malfoy are Slytherins, Harry is Malfoy's age and Sirius is Snape's age, Sirius is Harry's godfather, so in conclusion, Snape must be Malfoy's godfather. It all fits and has to be true. This one trips me up so bad because it makes so much sense in my head, I constantly forget it's not canon. In Final Fantasy VII, Barrett and his late wife lost a child back in Corel. I read a fic exploring this and it ended up osmosing into my own take, with credit of course. There's something very paternalistic, I feel, about the way Barrett takes on responsibilities and his guilt, and his anger is a very paternalistic anger. So it's a new layer to that which I found incredibly fitting. In Good Omens, Crowley is cold-blooded due to being a snake demon. I don't really put it into my own fics, but I 100% support it as canon. So, Crowley just lays down in the garden sunbathing. Yes, I am so stealing this. It's been a very, very long time, so I don't remember if this is canon or headcanon, but I read a BBC Sherlock fic once that delved into Sherlock's time away between season 2 and 3 that had Sherlock relying on Mind Palace John to get through it. It automatically became canon in my mind, to the point where, years later, I can't even remember if that was implied in the show or not. It just made the most sense somehow. Bisexual Dean from Supernatural. It's never hit as true for me as it did for Dean. Maybe because I saw a lot of myself in Dean and was coming to terms with my own sexuality, and in some ways still am. Sexuality is such a drama queen, throughout most of Supernatural. But I found the character lent himself exceptionally well to the struggle with queer sexuality. His character is kind of perfect for it. The first time someone suggested Dean was bisexual, it felt true. For Phineas and Ferb, Stacy has Perry's phone number and they text constantly. They also meet up for coffee when he has time and she's not hanging out with Candace. Ferb is fully aware that Perry's a secret agent since finding his lair, and understands he must be keeping it secret for a good reason. I like to imagine that Perry only sends as texts. In Dragon Ball, Saiyans have super sharp teeth, or almost fangs. My own addition is that they regrow them like sharks regrow their teeth. They never run out. A Danganronpa fanfic made Yasuhiro and Kiyotaka step-siblings cause their parents got together. I love the hell out of that headcanon. I once read a Labyrinth fanfic that mentioned how Jareth's eye had been injured when one of his crystal balls shattered, and that was supposedly why one of his eyes was permanently dilated. I've accepted that as canon ever since. Nice link to David Bowie's real injury. In NCIS, Gibbs is a werewolf. I really think that Luigi is just fully gay, based on absolutely nothing. I read a fanfic where it said one character's guilty pleasure was reading fanfiction. We had a moment of connection, and now it's canon. Big thank you to my Patreon members, my little ruse, Kuski55, Logan, Fallen Vexen, Sam, Donka42, I Am a Noodle, and John Huang. Thank you so much for your extra support on Patreon. It means the world to me, and I hope you guys are doing well. You're awesome. And the same goes to my YouTube channel members, my Mini Ruse, AD, Taylor Thompson, Logan, Fox Starkiller, and Debella. Again, thank you for your extra support. I'm glad to have you on my channel, and I hope you're doing well. And last but not least, thank you to everyone else for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what headcanons you've seen from other people that you loved so much that you had to take for yourself. As someone who obviously spends a lot of time in fandom world making these videos and whatnot, I see a lot of really fun headcanons, and sometimes they really do influence how I view characters. We can talk about it in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.